Long before he became one of the most famous followers of Jesus, Peter was just an ordinary fisherman living near the Sea of Galilee. His real name was Simon. Every day, he worked hard throwing nets into the water, hoping to catch enough fish to feed his family and survive. Life was simple, tiring, and uncertain. Simon never imagined that his life was about to change forever. One morning, after a long night of fishing, Simon and his friends returned to shore exhausted and disappointed. They had caught nothing. As they cleaned their nets, a man named Jesus walked toward them. Crowds followed him everywhere because of his wisdom, kindness, and miracles. Jesus stepped into Simon's boat and asked him to push away from the shore so he could teach the people from the water. Simon agreed. After Jesus finished speaking, he looked at Simon and said something surprising. "Go back into the deep water and let down your nets again." Simon was confused. He had spent the entire night fishing. He knew these waters better than anyone. Still, something about Jesus made him listen. "Master, we worked hard all night and caught nothing," Simon said. "But because you say so, I will let down the nets." As soon as they dropped the nets into the water, the fish began rushing in. There were so many fish that the nets started breaking. Simon and his friends struggled to pull them into the boats. Both boats became so full they almost sank. At that moment, Simon realized he was standing before someone far greater than an ordinary teacher. He fell to his knees and said, "Lord, I am not worthy to be near you." But Jesus smiled at him and said, "Do not be afraid. From now on, you will fish for people." That day changed everything. Simon left his boats, his nets, and his old life behind. Jesus gave him a new name, Peter, which means rock. Peter became one of Jesus' closest followers. Peter was passionate and bold, but he was also impulsive and imperfect. Sometimes he spoke before thinking. Sometimes he doubted. Yet Jesus continued to love and teach him. One night, during a terrible storm, the disciples were trapped in a boat on the sea. The wind was strong, and waves crashed around them. Suddenly, they saw Jesus walking on the water toward them. The disciples were terrified, but Jesus called out, "Do not be afraid. It is me." Peter answered, "Lord, if it is really you, tell me to come to you on the water." Jesus said, "Come." Peter stepped out of the boat and began walking on the water toward Jesus. For a moment, he did the impossible. But when Peter looked at the powerful wind and waves, fear filled his heart. He began to sink. "Lord, save me," he cried. Immediately, Jesus reached out and caught him. This moment showed both Peter's faith and his weakness. He trusted Jesus enough to step out of the boat, but fear caused him to lose focus. Like many people today, Peter wanted to believe, but sometimes fear became stronger than his faith. As time passed, Peter witnessed many miracles. He saw the sick healed, the hungry fed, and lives transformed. He believed with all his heart that Jesus was the Son of God. But Peter's greatest test came on the night Jesus was arrested. Jesus warned his disciples that difficult times were coming. Peter quickly declared, "Even if everyone else leaves you, I never will." Peter truly believed he would stay loyal no matter what happened. But Jesus looked at him sadly and said, "Before the rooster crows tomorrow morning, you will deny 3 times that you even know me." Peter could not believe it. Later that night, soldiers arrested Jesus. Fear spread among the disciples, and many ran away. Peter followed from a distance as Jesus was taken to the high priest's courtyard. As Peter stood near a fire, people began recognizing him. "You were with Jesus," one servant girl said. Peter quickly denied it. "I do not know him." A little later, someone else accused him again. Peter denied it a second time. Then another person insisted, "You are definitely one of his followers." This time Peter swore loudly, "I do not know the man." At that exact moment, a rooster crowed. Peter suddenly remembered Jesus' words. Overcome with shame and heartbreak, he ran away and cried bitterly. Peter had failed. The man who promised never to abandon Jesus had denied even knowing him. But Peter's story did not end in failure. After Jesus rose from the dead, he appeared again to his disciples. One morning, Peter and the others were fishing when Jesus called to them from the shore. Peter immediately jumped into the water and rushed to him. As they sat together, Jesus asked Peter 3 times, "Do you love me?" Each time Peter answered, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." With every answer, Jesus restored Peter's broken heart. The 3 denials were replaced with 3 opportunities for forgiveness and purpose. Jesus then gave Peter an important mission to lead and care for his people. From that moment on, Peter became fearless. The same man who once denied Jesus later stood boldly before crowds, preaching about faith, hope, and salvation. Thousands of people believed because of his message. Peter's life reminds us that God does not choose perfect people. He chooses ordinary people with willing hearts. Peter made mistakes, doubted, and failed, yet he became one of the strongest leaders in the early church because he never gave up on Jesus, and Jesus never gave up on him. His story teaches us that failure is not the end. Fear does not have to define us. No matter how many times we fall, grace can lift us back up again. And just like Peter, an ordinary life can become extraordinary when placed in God's hands.